Nothing brings people together quite like Team USA at the Olympic Winter Games. From NBC Universal's iconic storytelling to the innovative technology across Xfinity and Peacock, Comcast brings the Olympic Games home to America, sharing every moment with millions. When Team USA steps onto the world stage, people aren't just watching, they're cheering together. This winter, everyone is all on the same team. Comcast, proud partner of Team USA.
Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
Walk or ride your bike to school today, highlighting the importance of safe and active travel. 5 News reporter Tiffany Lee spent her morning at a Springdale Elementary where the school rolled out the red carpet for this important day.
This morning, kids arrived to school in style, a healthy one. Students walked, rode their bikes, and even rode their scooters to school.
I just enjoy going on my scooter.
Every morning, Samantha Reck and her brothers hop on their scooters and head to school. Reck says even though she has to share with her little brother, it's way more fun than a car ride.
Just because it's faster doesn't always mean it's better.
Reck is excited it's National Walk or Ride Your Bike to School Day because now her classmates can do what she does every morning.
It makes me feel glad that other people actually get to walk.
Principal of Walker Elementary in Springdale, Lynn Ryan, says that this day is important because they want their students to get the experience of walking or riding their bike to school, especially in the midst of COVID-19.
In our times of a pandemic, people tend to stay inside and be on computers and spend a lot of time indoors, and we want to encourage families to get outdoors and exercise.
But not only does it help this day help families get out of the house and be active, but school health coordinator Mary Miller tells us that it helps students have a better day.
When you walk or ride your bike to school, it opens up your brain cells, and when you get to school, you're receptive to learning.
While in-class students had the opportunity to walk or ride their bike to school today, virtual students were encouraged to walk or ride their bike before their class time started and then send in a video to the school. In Springdale, covering news where you live, Tiffany Lee, 5 News.
Now, this is the 24th year for National Walk and Bike to School Day. More than 1,000 events in 44 states across the nation were held today.
Guys, you're not seeing weirdness or oddness, in that video. Because a lot of people are going to say, well, is that an old video? There's children wearing masks and certain people wearing masks. No. Certain cities across America, they still practice the mask thing. They still do that social distancing stuff. And, it's unfortunate. It really is, little kids, man, wearing masks, wearing muzzles over their face,
taking in toxic levels of CO2 by rebreathing from in the mask that can cause CO2 toxicity, which is dangerous, more dangerous than the Wuhan hysteria virus causes. Kids are generally safe from that. They rarely get it. Yeah, they might carry it, but Wuhan strains now, too, these years later, are weaker. So it's not a major threat. The bigger threat here potentially to these kids is keeping them masked and the CO2 toxicity. Because I and Michael, aka Savage, deal in real science, not pseudoscience, not what government grant money pays somebody to say. That's mask technology that has been known and existed for more than 100 years. You can look it up. As Reagan said, trust but verify. We deal in facts here. But yeah, bike and walk, That's great. These fat bastards need it. Well, of course I say that because being a shock caster, we got to add some shock value.
You know, you're not afraid to air what the truth is, Joe. And I love how certain communities across the country are trying to practice the traditional roots of going to school, riding your bicycle, walking alongside with your friends. I remember that when I was a kid, man, growing up. In the 80s, times were different up in New York, they were. Now it's like, guys, I wouldn't suggest walking down any block in New York City with the amount of influx of illegal immigration and crime. It's out of control. But back in the day, we were able to do that. We were able to, just go to school and not have a worry in the world. So, bringing back these, these roots, these origins of how school's supposed to be, I'm all for it, Joe. I really am.
Now they made, first thing though, you wanted me to bring up Wuhan so you could get me kicked off YouTube like you are, right? That's what, I know what you're doing. Kidding. But it wouldn't surprise me if YouTube doesn't now want to try to kick me off for what little I said, which was factual, 100% correct. Try to fact check me. Look it up. It's there. But I joked about fat bastards. But reality is far more of our kids are obese today than ever before. And a lot of others are just above the BMI where they should be. And it's because we are breeding a lazy society. They consider themselves active on their social media, right? And that's what it is. They're stagnant and stationary online all the time. It's the parents' fault for not making them walk and bike to school more. So they, a half hour of gym class during time they're in school isn't enough. You need to have them involved in sports. As much as I hate soccer, even lame soccer, because it's at least the least expensive sport to have your kid in, so they're at least standing there on the field most of the time, holding up their body weight. That's at least some muscle strain and exercise. And then, of course, the times at least when the ball does come by them, they run around a bit. They got to get more exercise. Yeah,
they have to. And, I want to talk a little bit about, the Wuhan hysteria, guys. I'm not going to, go into a lengthy discussion, as I like to try to keep these episodes short for the Savage Uncut bonus series, which is available all over the place, guys. Spotify, anywhere, if DuckDuckGo it. I don't do that Google stuff, but it breaks my heart. It really does, Joe. It breaks my heart when I see little kids with masks and muzzles over their face, because it's a muzzle, folks. And I'm not afraid to say it, and neither should you. Because what they're doing in some of these school districts and some of these counties and cities across the nation, they're forcing these kids to be muzzled like dogs.
Yeah, it's not a health issue. It's a control issue.
It is. It's not about health. It was never about health to begin with. It was about, like you said, Joe,
in our opinion,
the narrative of the language. Yeah.
And also keeping the masks on them in class cuts down on additional chatter. Again, a power and control mechanism in the classroom. The teachers and the teachers union just want to keep them quiet and subdued to get the indoctrination, like Walls brought up during the VP debate. I was passionate about becoming a teacher. No, you were passionate about being a left-wing Marxist Maoist activists indoctrinating children, and you immediately created a program to parade them over to China, show off the pomp and circumstance, but not show any of the downside, the death, the destruction, the poverty of communism.
That was interesting because that was brought up, and there was a lot of I want to say cutting the mic segments off, if scenarios. If you paid attention,
I remember one.
They cut JD Vance off, and he was like, "Excuse me, we're going to get into that, guys. I don't want to go too much off the rails with the conversation." But
I took us down another rabbit hole.
Yeah,
that's for later.
Rabbit hole. Oh God, I got a lot of discussion with that whole circus show last night. But the kids today, I'm glad that it's National Walk and Bike to School Day. Let's get it back to society. Let's get these kids enjoying school instead of having that thought like they're going to a prison. Because it is. It's like going to a prison for these kids. There's metal detectors. There's security officers.
Wow.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
We're not doing enough on that, and I got a school shooting show coming on Saturday, October 5th to cover that. But,
well, I agree, Joe. I agree.
We're driving these kids around everywhere too much. Make them walk.
I agree with the security, the heightened security, but obviously in
needs
city
to be more at some places. Yeah,
right. But I mean, who's to say oh well, you're for that, but you're not for it to put in rural areas. I just don't think it needs to be implied. Put it where the areas, I mean, obviously, in cities like New York or Chicago or Detroit. Yeah, without a doubt, security should be heightened up. But let's get these kids back to normalization. These kids don't even know what the hell school is about anymore. Really. I mean, it's disturbing. Some of these kids, they walk, Joe, with sad look on their face. They don't even know how to enjoy school. Because, I mean, most of that was fun time was taken away 4 years ago. Now it's all about indoctrination and telling your kids that Billy is okay to be Betsy. And Betsy is okay to be Billy, vice versa.
Savage Uncut with Michael Gardner.
Grade school, due to concerns, the kids might hurt themselves if there's a monkey bar out in the back. So, research, there's no playground a lot of these grade schools anymore. They've shut them all down because, oh my God, Billy might hurt, might get a scraped knee. Oh my God, that's part of life and growing up. People, stop robbing our children of necessary lessons. Some of them are hard. They're not nice, but they are lessons they need to have to be an actual intelligent, thinking adult, and that's the issue. They don't want intelligent, thinking adults. They want brainwashed, mediocre, weak morons wandering around.
Well, that's society. That's society. They, like Donald Trump said, I was I think a couple days ago, if I have correct, maybe last week, one of his rallies. I believe it was part of his Valdosta trip just earlier this week when he was assessing the damage from Hurricane Helene. He did make a small comment with the schools, and he says, we need to get the radicalization. And I love how we use that term because it's radicalization in the school system today. We need to get it to hell out of the school system. And I applaud Donald Trump for saying that because there is a huge amount of radicalization in the school system today in America. And it needs to stop. And kids need to enjoy school, not be forced into learning I don't even want to say programs, show learning crap that they don't need to be learning about, LGBT. Who the hell? I mean, come on. We talk about that all the time on the show. You don't need to be teaching kids this at 5-6 years old. Let's teach fun now in school to kids, especially that age. Riding your bike, walking to school with your buddies, right? Making friends. That's what school's about, and learning. Yeah, you're muted up right now, Joe. Yeah, bear with Joe. He's having some.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. Yes, I muted myself because I had something going. Yeah, but you're right. The problem is learning the real core R's, the old fundamentals we used to teach. But I wrote this in my Constitutionalist Politics book version of my show. I'm going to read this so I get it right. Bear with me. Savaged. In the USA, the indoctrination factories and other supposed free society systems are peddling radicalism, raunch, perversion through like the trans and the pedophilia, racism through CRT, and anti-Americanism, the new core R's that they left wants to our entitled lazy participant trophy overblown self-esteem buffoons. Again, I'm saying that to be shocking on purpose, right? To make the point. These know-nothing brats. Meanwhile, China is teaching their children the traditional core R's of reading, writing, arithmetic, history. There's an R in there. Science. I purposely misspell it and say, go on. See what I did there? Because our kids are so dumb they wouldn't know the R doesn't belong in science or virology, right? They're teaching real biology. We're teaching this idiotic, there are 1,000 genders nonsense. Again, science. Biology, actual, real science, genderism, pseudo-political nonsense.